The 2012 campaign was massive on free SHS. It was the same election that Mahamudu Bawumia and Akua lost to John Dramani Mahama. Yes, they lost the election, but they won the campaign and they kept their promise alive. Here's Nana Akua also in 2012 focusing on education and free SHS.
I don't think it's a secret that I have made education the top priority in the future Akufo-Addo government, God willing. And I'm doing so for a very simple reason. The development of our human resources is the single most important matter that we have to address and resolve, if indeed we are going to transform our economy and generate prosperity for the mass of our people.
This particular 2012 campaign even produced a song on free SHS.
Teacher fest, hooray! Mothers and fathers, aunties and uncles, grandma and grandpa, help the children of Ghana by voting for Nana Akufo-Addo and the MPP for free SHS.
Oh, help the MPP to help us go all the way through. Free SHS is the key. Vote for Nana and the MPP. Thank you.
We are happy, we thank you, Nana. We are happy, we thank you, Nana Akufo-Addo. We are very, very happy. The children of Ghana are so happy with the free SHS. Free senior high school, quality education. Teacher fest, hooray! Mothers and fathers, aunties and uncles.
We are the new patriotic party. We are the new patriotic party.
Ultimately, though, it was Mahamudu Bawumia's narrative that stood out clearly.
Was what allowed us as the MPP under President Kufuor to introduce the National Health Insurance against the protests of the NDC. We didn't stop there. We added the National Youth Employment Program. We added the school feeding program, the capitation grant program, the Metro Mass Transit program, the free maternal care program, the Maslock program, the LEAP program, and all of these programs from a HIPIC low-income economy. And this is why we are very confident that with the oil resources, we can certainly deliver the free senior secondary school education that Nana Akufo-Addo has promised.
Three election cycles later, Dr. Bawumia has been vice president for almost 8 years, and on policy, he has so much to say, with so much confidence and so much credibility.
I believe that as vice president, the policies I have championed or initiated have impacted or will impact the lives of virtually every Ghanaian. I have, with the full blessings and support of my boss, promised and delivered on many groundbreaking policies that are happening for the first time in our history. These include championing the Ghana Card, Agenda 111, e-pharmacy, Ghana.gov, one constituency, one ambulance, Zongo Development Fund, paperless ports, motor insurance, database, renewal of NHIS on your mobile phone, Ghana card number as your TIN number, SNID number, NHIS number, zip line, delivery for drones, gold for oil, gold purchase program, and so on, and so on, and so on.
So, that is the modern politician, Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia. So obvious is Bawumia's formidability that on his birthday, critical civil society voice Franklin Cudjoe even had this to say about Bawumia. Happy birthday, Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia. You are gifted. You changed the way politics was run in Ghana. You moved us from spin and propaganda to trading fact-based policies during elections. That was Franklin Cudjoe. As we have all come to see, Dr. Bawumia is just great, and he has changed our politics, hasn't he?
Mr. Vice President, I covered the NPP presidential primaries in 1998. I covered election 2000. I covered the NDC contest for election 2004, the one between Mills and Kwesi Botwe. I covered election 2004, 2008, 12, 16, 20. I have never seen a presidential candidate, whether in opposition or in government, focusing his campaign to the people about policy initiatives and policies that have been achieved. I also covered the UK election in 2001 for Tony Blair, and I covered also the UK election in 2019. You will find in those places that they were always articulating policy, what can be done, what can be solved. You will find here in all of those historical elections that we were not doing that until Mahamudu Bawumia arrived on the scene. Mr. Vice President, whatever happens in December, you have changed the politics of Ghana and Africa for a long time to come. I have nothing more useful to add except that God bless you.
Thank you, Paul.
God bless you.
Happy birthday to the Vice President, the NPP candidate, the #1 on the ballot, and the first leader of Northern extraction for the new Patriotic Party. Good luck to Dr. Bawumia on 7th December.
Experience the enhanced protection of Star Motor Third Party Extra from Star Assurance, an enhanced motor third party insurance policy that provides cover for loss or damage to your vehicle's windscreens, side mirrors, back glass, and other glass components. Whether it's a crack or major damage, you can drive with the assurance that your vehicle is well protected. Our commitment to you includes affordable coverage options and a claims process that is both fast and straightforward, so you spend less time dealing with paperwork and more time on the road. Also, we have proudly partnered with Hope for Little Lives, an organization dedicated to supporting children in need. By choosing Star Motor Third Party Extra, you're protecting your vehicle and making a positive impact. Every policy you buy helps bring joy and support to children in underserved communities. Reach out to us now on our toll-free numbers 0800-177-177 or 0302-245-906 to sign up. Let us help you drive with peace of mind and purpose. Star Motor Third Party Extra. Drive with confidence, give back with heart.
Star Assurance, your solid partner.
Over 5 million children have benefited from free SHS. Protect free SHS. Vote Dr. Bawumia, #1 on the ballot.
To all our believers,
To the Niger Gunners of Globe Road,
all you Artetas of Africa, of Accra,
of Maputo,
of Oimbo,
the legends of legends down Lusaka way. We hear you.
now hear us. Obrigado. Talo.
Betway.
the official global betting partner of Arsenal.
The luckiest.
Star 712 hash.
Luck is everywhere.
8K. Hey, you can get 8K. Get a packing from your command. One line. Hey, wait.
You can put it on his tab. This is my man.
Good luck.
Bill Radio. We are star 712. It's much more phone. I'm on dialing the magic numbers. Star 712. Now welcome to the luckiest. Aha, and now with me at ticket. You can buy for yourself or your loved one.
Mommy, tell mommy who's here.
You're buying for me, right?
Or who else?
Oh.
Let's choose buy tickets for others.
Love you, boo boo.
No, maybe straight to option 4.
Now we try. You need to buy tickets worth 50 Ghana to qualify. Yes, you can buy random or preferred tickets.
I'm choosing random ticket. That's it.
Listen, if you buy the random ticket, the system chooses a random number for you. But if you buy the preferred, you get to input your own preferred 5 digits. 5.
Baby, give me your 5 numbers.
And how much are we buying?
Babe, look at the body and buy you.
With your body,
So good, miss.
Hey, there, tread cautiously. Now follow the prompts and confirm. Now the luckiest.
The luckiest is regulated by the NLA on the Caritas platform, not for persons below 18 years. T&Cs apply.
Who are you? Are you? Charlie, I'll be you from the future. Who doesn't sleep on that slice of bready poor mattress anymore? Don some slippers, then follow me.
It is part of the mattress we did it from there.
Yeah?
Happiness mattress where the dead for.
Wait, what are you doing? Wow! No damage at all. Not only durable, but also super comfortable. Come on, try it.
Nothing day like Ash Foam. Enjoy full body support and unparalleled comfort for a restful sleep.
Don't forget your keys.
Get the premium sleep experience with mattresses from Ash Foam. Visit any of our showrooms nationwide or at ashfoam.com.
One choice, multiple styles, all big, all unique.
Over 5 million children have benefited from free SHS. Protect free SHS. Vote Dr. Bawumia #1 on the ballot.
Using Akua mixture, Akua Plus mixture, and Akua MT mixture, brought to you by Akua Research and Manufacturing Limited Company, proudly made in Ghana, formulated to support your general well-being. For those seeking immune system support, there is Akua Plus mixture. Support your body's defenses and stay strong. When it comes to combating malaria, Akua MT mixture will aid your treatments. For effective relief from malaria symptoms, try Akua MT mixture. Akua mixture, Akua Plus mixture, and Akua MT mixture are not recommended for pregnant women, lactating mothers, and children under 12 years. Always take a malaria test before using Akua MT mixture. Choose Akua mixture, Akua Plus mixture, and Akua MT mixture for your health needs. Available now at pharmacies nationwide. For bulk purchases, contact 0244 726611 or 0591 565 778. This advert is
Anti-cavity, gum protection, brighter teeth, and fresh breath.
I'm a fat missy way.
Prepare bantama.
Machase. It's her smile.
The fresh breath.
Me, Jibby said we used to Cal 360 toothpaste. Some kind. Cal 360 toothpaste.
That's Kia. Cal 360 toothpaste. It's a gum protector.
Onim jom kasan. Kile kosan. Cal 360 did the way. It's cool mint. Gives me fresh breath and your confidence booster.
You will see so feeling to when you know Cal 360 toothpaste.
Happy smile.
Cal 360 toothpaste, anti-cavity, gum protection, brighter teeth, and fresh breath. Cal, happy smile.
This advert is FDA approved.
The luckiest.
Star 712 hash.
Luckiest everywhere.
8K. Hey, you get an 8K. Get back packing from your one line. Hey, wait.
You can put it on his tab. This is my man.
Good luck. Hey, go bill radio. We are star 712. It's much more phone. I'm on dialing the magic numbers. Star 712. Now welcome to the luckiest. And I'm with me at home ticket. You can buy for yourself or your loved one.
Mommy, tell mommy who's here.
You're buying for me, right?
Or who else?
Oh.
Let me choose buy tickets for adults.
Love you, boo boo.
Maybe straight to option 4. Now, you need to buy tickets worth 50 Ghana to qualify. Yes, you can buy random or preferred tickets. I'm choosing random tickets. Listen, if you buy the random ticket, the system chooses a random number for you. But if you buy the preferred, you get to input your own preferred 5 digits. 5.
Baby, give me your 5 numbers.
And how much are we buying?
Babe, look at the body and buy you.
With your body,
Hey,
there, tread cautiously. Now follow the prompts and confirm. Now the luckiest.
The luckiest is regulated by the NLA on the Caritas platform, not for persons below 18 years. T&Cs apply.
I live at Angloga and I had my basic education at Way, a town in the Volta region of Ghana. When I was at JHS, it wasn't easy for me when it comes to my financial aspect because my mom is a seamstress and as well as a trader, and my dad engages in farming activities. But God being so good, the government of Ghana brought up this free SHS policy. So I'm so happy that the government have brought up this policy that is making me also to have access to secondary education. One day I would like to become like the Vice President of the Republic of Ghana, Dr. Bawumia. That is, I want to become an economist. He is my role model because I believe he has been one of the best economists ever in the world.
Protect free SHS. Vote Dr. Bawumia, number 1 on the ballot.
While you're done for the day, someone is planning to start theirs. At every given second in the dead of night, an uninvited guest could turn all your hard work into a nightmare. But with Response 1's BizGuide monitored alarm, help is already on the way. Our state-of-the-art video verification means the moment your security is breached, we are watching, verifying the threat instantly. Our dedicated response team acts swiftly, ensuring that threats to your livelihood are stopped in their tracks. And with our rent-to-own plan, this unparalleled security is yours with an affordable monthly payment. Protect your business now. Pay as you earn. Join the hundreds of shop owners who trust Response 1 to protect their businesses. Don't wait for the worst to happen. Act now. Call Response 1 today or visit our website. Your business deserves the best defense.
You the answer to my prayers. You with me everywhere. You're my angel, miracle. You're all I need tonight. Give me shelter from the rain. You breathe life in me again. You're my angel, miracle. You're all I need to know.
Apomode wonsem yemfen diagro enunti nese wonom ede papa nko a Exodus moringa capsules ene Exodus dandelion capsules efi Exodus ebusuanom na ebeboa wapomode emu bia wo benya no betimi aboa nanso se wonya to no a wo betimi anom abom na ebeboa papa apa se wonom Exodus moringa capsules ne Exodus dandelion capsules ebua mamoja di efusani yiye na afei ebusi wo immune system no na akwatia yarewa ahodo minim yiye se nipa dodo na nim dia moringa etumi ye na dandelion so ye nim enunti ne nkasa bebre enye ma apemfo ana abatan a oma enifo ana abofra onya emfidumi Exodus ehu adansi die dos.
How far with your intention?
To be honest, I'm so nervous about starting this new role on Monday.
Oh, please. I know you'll be great at it. You should be worried about what benefits they have. Example, do they have health insurance?
I doubt they will have that for internet. But no shaking. I have NHIS already.
Actually, I'm on a line.
Ina, look at you. What are you going to do in your office when you can just download the app to register for an NHIS membership?
Yes, my people. You heard right. You can now download and register your membership on my NHIS app. No long queues or tedious paperwork. All you need is your Ghana card to register for yourself and for others. Once you register, you get a new digital NHIS card on your phone. My NHIS app gives you access to credentialed health facilities and services across the country. NHIS covers over 95% of disease conditions in Ghana. Access to healthcare just got easier.
Now let me sign up quickly. Please, Seth, I'm starting work next month.
Nana, who are you voting for this year?
Habateria. As for this question, you need not ask. John Mama and the NDC, of course. Who else? You know there should be a change. Maybe I should have brought to Abapa.
Hey, Nana, born before computer.
Yeah,
do you still remember how to vote?
I am so sharp. On December 7th, when I get to my police station, I'll take my voter's ID card to the EC officer. He will check, find my name, and give me a ballot paper. I'll inspect the ballot paper and make sure the EC stamp is at the back with no other markings around it. When I get to the box, I will just inspect the paper again, search for the umbrella. I will just put my thumb in the ink pad and stamp the empty box just by the umbrella, not on the line or Mohammed's face, but in the empty box just by the umbrella. Then I clean my hand, fold my ballot paper vertically and horizontally, and drop it straight into the presidential box.
Now well done.
On the parliamentary candidate, I'll just stamp my hand in the empty box just by the umbrella. Now I'm done. Give it back.
Vote for change. Vote for John Mahama and the NDC.
Now let me tell you why you should choose Safari Valley as your conference destination.
The new conference building combines modern amenities with the tranquility of nature, providing the perfect backdrop for your next seminar and corporate retreat.
The only conference destination with so many activities. You don't have to travel to visit your tennis club, the gym, or the stables. They have it all.
Enjoy this rooftop viewing deck, basking in the sunlight with the sight of wild animals roaming freely in their natural habitat.
At my break, I'm able to practice my putting.
It's a unique experience that sparks creativity and rejuvenates the mind.
Visit Safari Valley Eco Resort in Ghana, bringing you closer to nature.
Over 5 million children have benefited from free SHS. Protect free SHS. Vote Dr. Bawumia, #1 on the ballot.
Sincerely apologize for coming on air at 9:45. You know what? The commercial break is now 13 minutes. They always do that to us when it's close to election time. All the adverts are placed on political programs on all TV stations. Sorry, we had a very, very long commercial break. Those of you on social media, I'm sure you saw what we're doing in the studio, etc., etc. Tonight, we have another bombshell to drop with you. So, unfortunately, Madam Akua Donkor passed, and may she rest in eternal peace. And we recognize her for the role she played as a catalyst, as a voice of conscience, as a voice of entertainment, as a different kind of political voice. Akua Donkor has punctuated this political environment with her footprints, and it will take a very long time for us to forget about her. Tonight, though, she's drawn the Electoral Commission, and I'm guessing the Parliament, maybe eventually the Supreme Court, into a constitutional crisis. Because we're going to show you tonight on Good Evening Ghana, we're going to be very different. that contrary to what we are hearing, that the Donkor situation is resolved by Article 54, we are going to suggest to you after our touchscreen presentation that it actually doesn't. That Article 54 has actually very little relevance for what has happened today. We know that the Electoral Commission has issued a statement pursuant to Article 54 and indicating that they are waiting for 10 days. We're going to demonstrate to you on the touchscreen tonight. And it's taking us back because you know that tonight we're also sharing with you some stories in our book, the 77 stories that define Ghana's Fourth Republic. Copies will be in the studio on Thursday, but tonight we're going to share with you some of the stories. So as we look at the historical in that book, we're doing the research today. We had a lot of arguments in the studio. We came to the conclusion that the absence of the Ghana Bar Association from the Consultative Assembly work in 1992 may now be telling on us. Because I'm going to show you that between Article 54 and Article 112, 3, and 4, all of what the framers of the Constitution did was relating to Parliament only. It actually has absolutely very little relevance to the presidential election, if at all. And the date of 7th December, which is the voting date in Parliament, voting date under the law, is also a regulation for Parliament. The reason why we're having this difficulty is that you will assume that the framers of the Constitution were looking for the presidential election to occur on a separate date and the parliamentary election to occur on a separate date. In fact, that's what happened in 1992. Presidential election was fought, I believe, on the 8th of November or 20-something of November, and Parliament was due in December, and it was boycotted. Subsequently, to cure the situation of these boycotts after a presidential election, where a party may have performed abysmally in the presidential election and therefore loses interest in the parliamentary election, common sense and wisdom suggested to all of us that we should have the presidential election and the parliamentary election on the same day. In doing so, we did not check the laws. We didn't check what the laws are saying, and tonight I'm going to show you that on the touch screen. Let's not get too excited. Let's pay tribute to the dead. Here is our montage reminding us of the life of Akua Donkor. Why? What's the problem?
Radical me praying, any praying for say. Uma echo abano, Bakun copy, Bakubi stream. My son may see switch me say. A radical catch them say, ballot, a best son, says a Bakubi stream, and I got in catch him say. One day who so must start a print, and I'm submitting a radical on the America. I am in that we are. A radical catch them say, ballot, a best son. Says a Bakubi film, and I got in catch him say. One day who so must start a print, and I'm submitting a radical on the America. Say, Uma echo abano, Bakun copy, Bakubi film. Radical catch me praying, any praying for say. Uma echo abano, Bakun copy, Bakubi film. My son may see switch me say. A radical catch them say, ballot, a best son, says a Bakubi film, and I got in catch him say. One day who so must start a print, and I'm submitting a radical on the America. I am in that we are. A radical catch them say, ballot, a best son, says a Bakubi film.
As I said, or that Nakoyanso, a Fidia man for Sumono, and this is far at the papa. I bet I ever treat. I have fired a fish by the come up. But if you are dying, I had to go, sir.
May Akua Donkor rest in eternal peace. That's a small montage we put together for her. Condolence to the family and to the people of her hometown who are all very enamored of her, and to the political family, the political party that she founded and that she leads. Her death also reminds me of Dan Lartey, who trudged along in a similar way, punctuated our politics significantly, never had the majority enough to shake the ballot, but was very significant in the campaign, and we always remembered his name and the things that they said. Akua Donkor and Dan Lartey are very similar in our minds tonight. But Akua Donkor has just left us, and may she rest in eternal peace. What has happened, though, is that there's a constitutional lacuna as a result of Akua Donkor's departure, which now we need to deal with on the touch screen. We are not the Supreme Court, so we are just conducting an academic exercise that we need to conduct. And later in the presentation, I'll be inviting Afriku to join us to get the analysis of the things. May she rest in peace, Akua Donkor. She definitely gave us something to talk about in politics. Now, let's start. You saw the video in the montage where my friend, Reverend Professor Kusi Apia, said that, in fact, he told me privately that one of the candidates, he didn't say who. I think he suggested to me that he wasn't sure who, but he said one of them will not be available on December 7th. He wrote down a few things for me. I still have the paper on which he wrote it down. And he's asked me not to show it to the general public, but he wrote it right here in the studio. He wrote it down. And we photographed him when he was writing it. So all the things he wrote down, some of them have happened. We are waiting for the rest. He talked to me about the positions on the ballot, and he told many other people as well. By and large, what he said actually happened, isn't it? Now, he talked about one person was going to depart from us. And in the video that I showed you is from the studios of Wuntumi Radio, where he was interviewed. Later on, I'll get the video separately for you to look at. But that's Madam Akua Donkor. So what next after the Akua Donkor situation? Everyone is taking us to the... should we look at the... No, first let's look at... yes, the EC press statement. Yes, correct. So the Electoral Commission has come out with the press statement that I'm challenging tonight. So this is what they say. The Electoral Commission has today received information on the unfortunate passing of the presidential candidate of the Ghana Freedom Party, Madam Akua Donkor. May she rest in peace. Whilst the 1992 Constitution and the Public Elections Regulation 2000 CI 127 are not clear on processes to follow in the event of a death of a presidential candidate, Article 54 of the Constitution provides as follows. Where at the close of nomination, but before the election, one of the candidates dies, a further period of 10 days shall be allowed for nomination. Where at the close of nomination, but before the election, one of the candidates dies, a further period of the 10 days shall be allowed for nominations, blah, blah, blah. Okay. The Commission has since informed the GFP to make arrangements to nominate new candidates and inform the Commission accordingly. In the meantime, the Commission has suspended the printing of ballot papers which were near completion. Samuel Tete, Deputy Chairman, is the one who said, okay, so now we get to the big story. Our contention on Good Evening Ghana tonight is that Article 54 has nothing to do with presidential election. It's absolutely irrelevant to presidential election, and it indicates a bigger problem of the 1992 Constitution. It's a great Constitution, but there are gaps in it, and we're going to conclude by saying that it is beginning to look like we are beginning to feel the absence of the Ghana Bar Association in the drafting of the 1992 Constitution, because certain fundamental questions that we believe that the bar would have asked to resolve the lacunae and the different kinds of issues that we have in the Constitution when it comes to especially these issues of institutions and how to deal with personalities, etc., etc. Now let's look at 54. It says, where at the close of nomination, but before the election, one of the candidates dies, a further period of 10 days shall be allowed for the nominations. And where the death occurs at any time within 25 days before the election in that constituency or unit shall be postponed for 21 days. Okay. sorry about All right, let's do the analysis. So, where at the close of nomination, but before the election, one of the candidates dies, a further period of 10 days shall be allowed for nominations. And where the death occurs at any time within 25 days before the election in that constituency or unit shall be postponed for 21 days. Okay, so let's do some detailed analysis. It's talking about death of a candidate. So it mentions death twice. In the second line, it says, if one of the candidates dies. Then it continues and says, where the death, so that the word death here is referring to the dies earlier. The word dies, candidate dies, and then the word death. The candidate death is referring to the one who dies earlier because it says, and where the death is qualifying the death to tell you that it is the death of this person who is a candidate who has died before the election after the close of poll. So the death is the same. It says where it occurs at any time within 25 days before the election in that constituency, this is the word of the Constitution, that constituency or units shall be postponed for 21 days. Now, the reference to that constituency or unit should clearly suggest to us that Article 54 is in reference to Parliament. It is not about presidential elections at all. It is in direct reference to Parliament. Yes, we know that in presidential election, the whole country is held as one constituency. Yes, we know that. And it has one returning officer. The chairman of the Electoral Commission is the returning officer for the presidential election. In fact, the sole returning officer. And then there are returning officers of the Electoral Commission for all the 275 constituencies. Now, the article says that if the thing occurs, the death occurs at a certain period, then that constituency's election. So the article is contemplating that in that constituency there will be no voting, but that there will be voting in other places. That's clearly Parliament. So I'm not sure why we are saying that the 10 days thing is pursuant to Article 54. I like the Electoral Commission statement, and bring back the Electoral Commission statements, please. Bring the statement. The Electoral Commission statement first, please. Yes. The Electoral Commission statement says that, okay, it says, yeah, it's here. Madam Akua Donkor, it says that the Ghana Freedom Party, Madam Akua Donkor, has passed. May she rest in peace. While the 1992 Constitution and the Public Elections Regulation 2020, CI 127, are not clear on the processes to follow in the event of a death of a presidential candidate, Article 54 of the Constitution provides as follows. But the Electoral Commission statement already says that the 1992 Constitution is not clear on the matter. This is the Electoral Commission statement of today, and I'm guessing, and we're discussing this, the Electoral Commission is putting up this statement. I guess they just want to buy time. They just want to buy time to see what to do, because there's no regulation to direct them as to what to do. But they are saying in their statement that 1992 Constitution is not clear. Then in the same statement, they say they are relying on Article 54. I would have preferred them to have relied on CI 127, because that's a regulation they can hold onto as a regulation emanating from themselves. Article 54 is not about Parliament. This is CI 127. It says as follows. Regulation 13.4 provides that, oh, this screen should come quickly. Okay. Where at the close of nominations, but before the election, one of the candidates dies, a further period of 10 days shall be allowed for nominations. Yes. This is CI 127. And that's the only thing the Electoral Commission should rely on. I don't think they can rely on Article 54, because Article 54 does not take us there at all. Article 54 does not take us there. Article 54 is talking about a presidential election. It's talking about a parliamentary election, sorry. So, are we getting it, viewers? I hope it's not complicated. Article 54 here is about a parliamentary election. It's not about a presidential election. Now, let's do a bit of history. The first elections that was held had presidential and parliamentary elections held separately, okay? Presidential in November, parliamentary in December. As a result of something that happens, many people know what happened. We decided from 1996 that we're going to have the elections held on the same day, presidential and parliamentary, to be held on the same day. That's what we decided in 1996. Now, since we decided that, we have not come back to check the articles and the provisions in the Constitution about the regulations for election, because we know that the Electoral Commission shall make regulations. They call them CI. Every election there's a CI. We have not looked at the provisions properly to understand that these provisions are for Parliament. And if the Bar Association had been in the Consultative Assembly work, they would have looked at this provision and have asked questions that 54, is it parliament or is presidential? Because there's absolutely no process. As the Electoral Commission says in a statement, acknowledging the statement, there's absolutely no process about a presidential candidate dies. Now, some say that the ballot papers have already been printed. The Donkor is on number 3. Leave it at number 3. I heard some very ridiculous suggestion on Joy FM. An NDC official said they should give the people pen, they should cancel it. Donkor. Something else, laughing about it until Samson Ladi came up to deny that that's not a way to go. But anyway, some say that you have to cancel Donkor's name. Now, if the Electoral Commission is going to nominations, it means that the party, the political party, Donkor's party, can nominate another person. If they nominate another person, ballot papers will have to be printed again. If they don't nominate another person too, ballot papers will have to be printed again. This is the big question. If the party decides that they are withdrawing from the election, what happens? I think we have a CI that we can look at, but that's also parliamentary. If the party decides that they are withdrawing from the elections, then they will have to print the ballot papers again without a Donkor, and that's where the contention is, because every other candidate who is below number 3 is going to have to shift in its position. And they have already begun the campaign and begun their PR and sharing the number on which they appear on the ballot. So number 8 is going to be number 7. Number 7 will be 6. 6 will be 5. 5 will be 4. 4 will be 3. 3 will be 2. And 1 will be 1. That's where the problem is tonight. Because the two major political parties are not similarly affected with this situation. That's why there's a problem. And that's why a fight has already begun. The NDC are already fighting, suggesting that somebody wants to do them wrong. Because the Electoral Commission can have the option to say that we will exclude Donkor if the party decides that they are not participating anymore. If the party decides they are participating, they will bring another person and have the person as number 3. There's going to be a lot of horse trading in the party because the NDC are going to go to some of them and say, look, you guys should stay in the race. The MPP are going to go to some of them and say, you guys should withdraw from the race. So there's going to be a lot of horse trading. Suddenly, somebody's cocoa season has arrived. Yeah, the Ghanaians understand what I'm saying. If you are watching me, you are Ghanaian, you understand what I'm saying. Somebody's cocoa season has arrived. Because the MPP is going to hold the people this way. NDC is going to hold them this way. Because the Electoral Commission is free to exercise its discretion in this matter. I'll come to the discretion in a minute. But this is the CI. CI Regulation 10 provides that, CI 127 Regulation 10 provides that where a duly nominated candidate whose name appears on the nominated list displayed at the constituency center withdraws as candidate after ballot papers and related election notices have been printed, the ballot papers and related notices may continue to include the name and other particulars of the candidate. Again, parliamentary, read the language. Where a duly nominated candidate whose name appears on the nominated list displayed at the constituency center. Parliamentary. It is because there are no regulations for presidential elections. The regulations that was done for parliamentary elections. And when we brought the presidential elections to operate on the same day as the parliamentary elections, we forgot to generate a new set of regulation for the presidential election. We do not have a regulation for the presidential election. So in 2016, there was a suggestion that the election dates be changed from November 7th back, from December 7th back to November 7th. It had to go to Parliament and it had to require 2/3. This is the story. Let me show it to you. Now, this date of 7th December is, timer, please start another one from here. The date of 7th December. The 7th December. Let's understand why we vote on 7th December. Please, can you put the articles there? I'll come to this one later. Let's understand why we vote on 7th December. Why the date 7th December is the date that we vote. Can we have a look at it? Okay, great. This is it. It's Article 1124. It says, subject to Clause 2 of Article 113 of this Constitution, a general election of members of Parliament shall be held within 30 days before the expiration of the period specified in Clause 1 of that article, and a session of Parliament shall be appointed to commence within 14 days after the expiration of that period. Okay, this is the important one. Subject to Clause 2 of this article, Parliament shall continue for 4 years from the date of its first sitting and shall then stand dissolved. Okay. So Parliament continues for 4 years. So the Parliament has to be elected within 30 days. An election of a new Parliament has to be within 30 days of the dissolution of the Parliament, the existing Parliament. That's what the law says. Let's look at it. Where is it? Subject to Clause 2 of Article 113, a general election of members of Parliament shall be held within 30 days. That means it shouldn't be 31. It shouldn't be 32, but it can be 29. It can be 28. It can be 15. It can be 16. It says, a general election of members of Parliament shall be held within 30 days before the expiration of the period specified in Clause 1 of this article, at the session of Parliament. So the expiration of Parliament is January 6th, January 7th, however you look at it, midnight plus 1, however you look at it. Now, in the circumstances, this law is requiring parliamentary elections to occur on the 7th of December, 30 days before 7th of January. Again, this regulation is for Parliament. Nowhere does it say that the presidential election should occur before the president is sworn in 30 days before. This 30 days is not. So the presidential election, we can decide that we don't want it on the 7th of December. We want it on December 20th. There is absolutely no regulation. In fact, we can have the presidential election on January 1. This is a call to Parliament and to all our scholars and civil society to start making our constitution better by thinking through these things and providing for us meat for the purpose of governing our presidential election. Akua Donkor has woken up and woken us up to something very critical. That is how big people work, even in death. Akua Donkor has woken us up to something very, very important. There are no regulations about our presidential election. So the Electoral Commission tonight is confused. Jean Mensah is confused. Bosman Asare is confused. They are talking to their lawyers. They are talking to their family. They are talking to their friends. They don't know what to do because the 1992 Constitution has no clear regulations for the conduct of a presidential election. And I'm surprised, well, I'm not surprised, but I'm worried that media are leading Ghanaians to Article 54. Media, please wake up and tell Ghanaians that Article 54 is not about presidential election. It is fully on parliamentary election. It talks about that constituency, the death in that constituency or unit. It is not the presidential election. Akua Donkor has now woken the whole country up into a major constitutional lacuna. Tonight, the Electoral Commission is going to make its decision and decide that, well, we think that in the circumstance, we should ballot everything again. That will be the decision of the Electoral Commission. The Electoral Commission can decide that, well, Akua Donkor has been replaced. We'll put her there. That seems easy. The Electoral Commission can decide that Akua Donkor's party is no longer interested. We will delete them and then change every other person who is below them. That's going to end up at the Supreme Court. Because the NDC is going to say that when we came to ballots, we picked number 8, we didn't pick number 7. There's no regulation that says that if somebody dies, you have to push me there. I am going to the Supreme Court for an interpretation of the matter. So it looks like it's just beginning. Early morning, it is just beginning. We are in the early morning of this conversation. It is really just beginning. It hasn't gone anywhere, and we will have to see what happens. So this is Akua Donkor's running mate. His name is Roman Father. So if the party, which is the Ghana Freedom Party, the GFP, if they decide that Roman Father should run for the ticket, then Roman Father will now need to take a running mate. Oliver-Kapa was refused Alan Chamartin's running mate. Perhaps he will accept Roman Father's running mate. I don't know. But if Roman Father decides to run, then they have to print new ballots. If, however, the Ghana Freedom Party decide that they do not want to run anymore, that's an issue. The Ghana Freedom Party can also decide that whilst they are not running anymore, they want to endorse the National Democratic Congress. What happens to that? That also can happen. That may not have any effect on the notice of poll. If you endorse a party, you can endorse a party. It may not have any effect on the notice of poll. But all of these things are open. And I'm unhappy that this evening all media have pointed to Article 54 and looks like the matter is there. No, the matter is only starting. There's going to be major legal arguments over this matter. Is the Electoral Commission going to leave Akua Donkor in there? Will they do that? They may. According to the CI Regulation 10 that we read, in parliamentary elections, you can leave the person there because you've printed the ballot papers already. So all of these things are interesting things that are coming up. Let's Let me call Apriku in. Let's discuss the article very quickly. We'll do it in 2 minutes and then we are done because we have quite a lot to do tonight. Is he going to come? Which one is it? Okay. The discretion. So we will be ending with the discretion. As I'm saying, and Mr. Timer, please, this is another story, please. The discretion. In the circumstances of what has happened with Akua Donkor and everything that we have said tonight, we've said one, that the Article 54 is about parliamentary, it's not about presidential. You can see that in another video. We've also said that this is as a result of the Ghana Bar Association not showing up at the consultative assembly meetings where all of these things were discussed. And these are tougher legal issues. They are more technical. And you have had the group of lawyers represent. There were some lawyers in the room, of course. But if you had a lawyer's representation there, perhaps they would have looked at this a different way. So in the circumstances, we are suggesting that the Electoral Commission has a call to exercise their discretion. This is where we are. But that's why Article 296 is there, because the Constitution knew, the framers of the Constitution were aware that there will be a time when the discretion of the office holder is what will be the law. They knew that because you are operating in a human society. You possibly cannot legislate for everything. We have tried. The American Constitution is very small. It doesn't legislate for anything. It allows the people to think. The British have actually no constitution at all. They go day by day and Parliament enacts and enacts and enacts. So we have done well. But even in what we did in trying to legislate for as many things as possible, the framers of the Constitution were still aware that you cannot legislate for everything. So they put in 296. What does it say? Where in this Constitution or any other law, discretionary power is vested in any person or authority, A, that discretionary power shall be deemed to imply a duty to be fair and candid. B, the exercise of the discretionary power shall not be arbitrary, capricious, or biased, whether by resentment, prejudice, or personal dislike, and shall be in accordance with due process of law. Yes. C, where the person or authority is not a judge or other judicial officer, there shall be published by the constitutional instrument CI or statutory instrument regulations that are not inconsistent with the provisions of this Constitution or that other law to govern the exercise of the discretionary power. Lawyer, this is where the issue comes in. So if the Electoral Commission decides, and they can, that in the circumstances, they are going to take out Akua Donkor's name because a party is not interested if they say so, and that they are going to ask ballot positions to shift below 3, that's going to create a problem.
Yes.
And the NDC are going to go to court.
Exactly.
What's going to happen?
So generally, the court is, if the court is brought in, that's going to be a different ball game altogether, because now the court would have to look at issues of interpreting all the various constitutional clauses. You know, the court cannot add to the Constitution.
No, the court will be coming in at the discretion level.
Exactly. So they would have to interpret 296. That's what I mean.
Yes.
Because it's a constitutional provision.
Yes. And
they cannot
the limitations are, they have to be
fair, it has to be candid, it has to
fair
be
and candid.
Yes.
Candid, I'm not sure it will apply here, but fair.
Yes.
So if a person has balloted to be at 7
and
you tell them to move to 6, that's unfair.
Possibly, because the person has spent money, incurred costs in putting together paraphernalia and things of the sort to campaign for that specific position. It may not be fair. On the flip side, on the other side, we also do not want a situation where we waste votes. So as much as possible, we should try and minimize vote wastage. So that's the argument the other side may make, that despite the fact that political parties may lose some money, it is a cost for democracy. And we all know democracy is an expensive venture. Therefore, let us ensure that as much as possible, we do not throw votes away. In 2008, the election 2008, the number of spoiled ballots was actually third before, so it was MPP, NDC, spoiled ballots before the other candidates came in.
Is that a demerit of our democracy?
Everything has merits and demerits, but at the end of the day, it is the broader picture in the long haul.
Okay, so the point you're making, if the other arguments where they say that we need to ensure that ballots are not just
as much as possible.
So that means take Akua Donkor out.
Yes.
So would you leave the place blank?
So what they may do is they can either leave the place blank, particularly as I said, they've printed. They may recall the ballot.
They've said they've stopped the ballot tonight.
Yes, and then recall wherever it's been distributed to or whatever. And then they can either leave it blank or blot it with black. So they can leave the number there, but all the space we.
So that number 8 remains number 8.
Yes, but
will they have a justification to insist that political parties will be shifted on the poll?
You see, the justification would then fall here, 296. That justification, is it fair? That justification, is it? Does it event arbitrariness? Does it event capriciousness?
Bias?
Is it bias?
Arbitrary, capricious, bias, prejudice, personal dislike may all not work.
And those things
may all not work, but
yes,
fair.
That's fair.
Fair is a big one.
Exactly. So, as much as possible, we should also try and have a balance.
Under what circumstance can anybody argue that it is fair to ask people to change their ballot because somebody has died when you didn't tell them that before?
Exactly what I said earlier, that we would also not be very fair to our democracy. Someone may say that, oh, but everybody knows that she passed, and therefore it would not make sense to attempt to change the positioning because people most likely are not going to spoil their ballots and printing it there. But as I said earlier, we must try as much as possible to prevent such instances from happening. So the suggestion, or what I would think, is that we would just blot out that part and leave the numbers as
what about the law? What do we do with the law? Are you going to write a paper and send it to your law firm, your head of law firm, Mr. Sufi, to sign and then send it to the Parliament?
Possibly. It actually shows some of the weaknesses because you observe that in many of the election provisions, they are largely contained under Parliament, that's the legislature. The legislature starts from Article 93 and ends at Article 124. So you saw Article 112, which
all are legislative articles in Parliament.
Exactly.
That seems to be where the election regulations are mentioned.
Mainly for.
They're not mentioned in the presidential at all.
No.
Except to say that the president is elected with 50% plus one, the second round.
Those are things we cannot do without. Those are things we have to prescribe. But as to the technicalities and the nitty-gritties, which particularly in a relatively volatile democracy like ours, I mean, now it's not that volatile.
Doesn't it give us an opportunity to sort of look at all these things and see whether we can do what Americans do, where they add the running mates photograph to the ballot? Whether we can use this opportunity of Donkor death and all of these things to now look at the regulations and sort it out.
See, the American system, if they will get a number of, to get 4 or 5, mainly Democrats, Republicans, then you can have some independents.
Oh, sometimes they have 22 candidates.
All running. Because I know now
the 2020 election, there were plenty.
Just 4 or 5.
Oh, by the time they are running, there are plenty.
But their system, they do not have a one-sheet ballots. I don't know if you, so they give them papers. And then every state has the way they vote. So they have an X. You go with your pen. You have an X. So that's fundamentally.
But shouldn't we be adding running mates to the ticket?
It would
on
also
the ballot
come to issue of design.
Yeah, but you have the presidential candidate. You have the photograph of you have the party logo.
Okay, so we can have maybe the space for the presidential candidates can be divided into 2.
Yes. So the left is president, right is
possibly. So that in case of anything, but. Does that mean that the party is going to put the vice there? What if the party replaces, maybe the party doesn't want Roman father to go? And so
so once somebody has died, everything changes.
Exactly. So
but the two who are there, they're both of them on the ballot.
Yes, but I'm saying, what if the party comes for, let's say, Ella? Ella becomes running mate. Ella says, well, I don't like Roman father.
What does that mean?
She doesn't want Roman father to be her vice, her running mate. Despite the fact that the running mate has been fielded.
Oh, no, but the Constitution says that the person choosing the running mate is the presidential candidate.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, so the Electoral Commission takes the name from the presidential candidate.
Yes.
So if there's a new presidential candidate, we'll take the name from the new presidential candidate.
Yes.
And do you want Roman father? He says yes. Okay. No.
So if it's a no, and Roman father's name is already on there,
you take him out as well. So but you are taking the presidential candidate out, so it's easy to take another person out.
That will also go back to issues of printing again. Reason I was saying
that's for the issues of printing. We are there now. We are going to do double printing, no matter how we look at it.
Reason I was saying that democracy is an expensive endeavor.
It is.
Whether you like it or yes, this issue of taking pen to cancel.
But the other thing is, why are they printing the ballot paper so early? We're in October.
Better safe than sorry. Particularly knowing
but between 1st December and 3rd December, the 15 million ballot papers you printed
necessarily may not be a problem. But aside from printing, there's distribution, there's security, there's logistics. There are some parts of the country you have to get with canoe. All their voices must be heard. There's some parts of the country they have to use helicopters. All those logistical arrangements
Yeah,
must
but I
be
can do
made.
that in a week.
Sure.
I'm guessing. And Americans do it.
That's America. And you know, in
Yeah, but
America,
the military have helicopters.
In America, how many? But in America, their election is relatively different because they live at the state level.
And they're doing early voting and all of that.
Yes. Okay. So it's the state level so it's sort of
Let's
small.
wrap it up, otherwise
But
we're taking
everything
too
comes
much
from Accra.
Okay, all right. So we'll keep this space and keep watching what happens after the Electoral Commission has now published. Yeah.
But it's a sign. It's actually a good sign for our democracy because it shows that we are actually beginning to develop. Gone are the days where this would have been reduced to as a basic issue, with people insulting Obi Akutu, Obi Edro, and that becomes the main.
Oh, they are doing it, but we are ignoring it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So but the main question is constitutional discussion.
That's
I mean,
important.
first that wouldn't have been. First it would have been.
I agree with you. That's a lawyer April. We move on tonight with text messages. Let's hear what people are saying, and then we get on. April, I think we'll do the book on Thursday, so we will proceed with our other stories. What do we have? Yes, let's do that one. Yes. So we'll do the debate first. Let's check out the text message. Who am I starting with, please? Answer by hi, welcome back.
It is indeed possible with Doctor and Doctor. Thank you, Apostle Paul, for this great program. I'm Gordon Jima, watching you live from Columbus, Ohio. From Sugri Jonas, he says, it is indeed possible. Junior Akua says, free education is coming to stay in Ghana. Votes for Dr. Bawumia to save free education. Akwesi Edu says, politics of measured policies. Kofi Miki says, please play Pudong Lions. Kwame says, one policy, 5,555 explanations. From Eric Tichi, he says, Ghana loves Donkor. May her soul rest in peace. Psalms GH also says, may her soul rest in perfect peace. Dash Thinkon says, life. We are here today, tomorrow we are gone forever. Nana Obosu says, why isn't this audio attestation in video? Can it be proven to which date or recording it was made? Lastly, from Kwame Sapon, he says, Ernest Clinton says, objective presentation, I love it. Over to you, Ella.
There's been a lot of conversations about whether or not the dates should be changed, especially like with everything that is happening. So Julia says, Polo, your media presentation is always different and understandable than some of the Ghanaian media communicators. Very great communicator. Keep it up. This one is from Yakubu. He says, to make matters easy and simple for both parties, there should be a wholly new reballot process. Like Apreku said, that's going to cost a lot of money. Paul Mensa also says, much has to be done when it comes to our politics and when it comes to our constitution. Kwame says, I do believe it's morally right for the EC to give them time to see if they will nominate another person as their flag bearer. Notwithstanding, I do wish that the GFP boycotts this election to show respect to Donkor. This one is from One in Town. He says, on the literal reading of the quotes by you and applying the interpretation of the quotation, I strongly disagree with you, Paul, on your understanding of the issue. I believe that the reference to unit is referring to the presidential election where the constitution is deemed as one unit. In this process, let's define what a unit is, an individual thing or a person regarded as single and complete, but which can also form an individual component of a larger or more complex whole. Therefore, the whole presidential election is one unit, which creates no ambiguity here. My candid opinion. Emmanuel Entry says, good evening, Paul. We all agree there are so many gaps in our 1992 constitution. However, no politician has shown the commitment to fill the gaps. Look at the issue in Parliament, and it is now the death of a presidential candidate. May God save Mother Ghana. Ebenezer Oche says, I agree with you, Paul. The EC should rely on CI 127 plus 13A. Lastly, from Miao, he says, I think since Donkor is running for presidential election and not parliamentary election, I think her constituency would be the whole Ghana, so the law is still applicable. All right. And
yeah, quite a number of people are agreeing with the fact that Ghana can be considered as a single unit. So Kweku Japan says that Ghana can actually be considered as one constituency, and so the law can apply to that. Jacob Angel says the same. He says, Paul, Ghana is actually recognized as a constituency as we have just one returning officer for the presidential elections. Therefore, Ghana can be classified also as a unit, but he continues to say he's open for debate and that he might not be clear. And then Charles Pope Nyamwa also says that, Paul, he's asking, don't you think in the presidential election, the whole country is considered as one constituency, which would therefore mean that the law is right? Now, Samuel Ofosuba says, good evening, Paul. In reality, the 1992 Constitution's ambiguity is obviously clear. For some basic smooth interpretations of national issues, it's time the legal fraternity in the Ghanaian Bar Association ought to set out to reperuse and systematically restructure it for the smooth running of the jurisdiction. If these amendments aren't done as needed, it would create havoc. May the soul of Donkor rest in peace. And Hudu Al-Hassan says that EC can actually shift list of candidates upwards because on the final ballot paper, the candidates are not even numbered. I think that makes sense. Benjamin Ofei Adu says, if we look at Article 63(2)(a), it speaks specifically to when presidential elections can be held when there is a sitting president. We cannot hold presidential elections on 1st January as Paul seemed to suggest. The election, and he quotes, the election of the president shall be held so as to begin where a president is in office, not earlier than 4 months, nor later than 1 month before his term of office expires. Now, Nanakwesi Edusi Opoku is reminding Paul that the ballot papers actually do not have any numbers at all, so her name can be covered. Rudy Buansi is asking a question. He says, what happens if 2 or 3 candidates pass away just 3 days before elections? Election must run, mustn't it? Just as it must run now, and the dead candidates maintained with their positions so far as the ballot papers are already printed. So he's suggesting we do not reprint them. And lastly, Kweku Mensa is talking about the prophecy. He says, I remember the day the pastor came on the show. He made mention of a candidate that would pass on, but he wasn't so sure of when. If he said it would be before the elections or after the elections. Anyway, may Donkor still rest in perfect peace. Now back to you, Paul.
Okay, so that's quite interesting, isn't it? Now, on the issue of the Article 54, yeah, but we made that point. I made the point that the whole country is referred to as a single constituency. But the wording of the article says that constituency or that unit. It's referring to a group of constituencies and it's isolating one. So it says that where death occurs in that constituency, if it's intended to say in the whole country, because the whole country is used as a constituency, it would have said so. Whether it is in a constituency or it's a national presidential candidate, it says that in many parts of the Constitution. We just didn't want to make it too long. Yeah, so if it says, the reason why we make the point is that it says that constituency. That's the reason why we make the point. Okay, 27 minutes past the top of the hour, 7 o'clock now. There's a fight going on, isn't it? There's a big fight going on. Tell the producer that I've sent him a letter that has just gone to our Bagbane. He should get this for us. It's on his phone. Okay. So John Dramani Mahama is heating up his campaign. The former president. He's just put 5 questions out asking the vice president to do something. Have a look at the video.
He posed 170 questions to my vice president, Amy Sata. He should go and answer the 170 questions himself. Indeed, he shouldn't answer 170 questions. He should answer only 3 questions. 3. Why is the exchange rate 17 cedis to the dollar? Question 1. Exam, he should come and write. Ezu, why has Ghana's debt risen from 120 billion to 767 billion in 8 years? Question 2, he should come and answer. Question 3, why is inflation where it is? Why did it rise to 54 under your administration for 8 years. And then let me add 2 more. Question 4. Why did you borrow 42 billion cedis from the Bank of Ghana? Why did you borrow 42 billion cedis from the Bank of Ghana? He should come and answer those questions. We don't need 170 questions. 170, if he wants, he can answer them himself. But Ghanaians are asking him 4 questions. He should come and answer those 4 questions and explain to Ghanaians why we are where we are. The last question is, why has he run away from the economy to digitalization? He used to do big about economy. Today he can't mention economy. It's not in his vocabulary. Anytime he opens his mouth, digitalization. Come and talk about the economy. That's question 5. 5 questions. Tell him. He should come and answer them.
Sayo. President John Dramani Mahama says that Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia here must answer those questions. I mean, I can answer some of those questions. Why is inflation 54% in 2020? It's because COVID and Ukraine, Russia. COVID and Russia. Should I say louder? COVID and Russia-Ukraine war. Okay. All right. But Dr. Bawumia has an answer for him. From what I'm hearing from Bawumia people tonight, Bawumia's campaign tonight is telling me that tell John Mahama, I called, I said, Charlie, I ask questions for you. He says, I said, tell him that if you want answers, debate me. That's strong, isn't it? The campaign is charging. He says, answer these 5 questions. Dr. Bawumia says, come to the debate. You are saying you won't come to debate. Come to stand in front of me at debate and say, hey, I'm here, you are here. You, Dr. Bawumia, why is the inflation? Yeah, that's simple. Because now Dr. Bawumia is going to answer on a rally platform. Then John Mahama will also ask another question on another platform. Then Dr. Bawumia will go to Bimbila and answer the question. Then Dr. Mahama will be in a Jusu and ask another question. Then Dr. Bawumia will go to Kaswa and answer that question. Then John Mahama will be in Brekum and ask another question. Then Dr. Bawumia will go to Kwetoy and stand there in Adudome and answer that question. Then John Mahama will go to Enche in the Western region and ask another question. We don't want that. We want the 2 of them, one standing here, one standing here. IEA debate live on television. 25 million Ghanaian voters are watching. John Mahama has a question. Question 1, you, Bawumia, then that's what we want. Viewers, support me. Send a text to the video. Say yes, presidential debate. So you have 5 questions to ask the vice president. Show up at the debate. Because you can't say you are running away from the debate and you're asking the man questions from far away. You are moving away from the debate stage. Every day you are shifting away and asking questions from far away. No, show up at the debate. Come to the debate. Let's deal with it. Let's see an example of how debate works. If we are forgotten, this is how debate works. Have a look.
Solid evidence that the people of this country have a very clear choice to make on December the 7th. From the NDC, we've heard again many of the same familiar campaign promises which we heard 4 years ago. And they've now packaged them as fantasy and are trying to sell it to us as reality. Fantasy. 4 years ago, they said they would bring unemployment down to the barest minimum of petrol and LPG at much higher prices. I lead a team of committed, dedicated men and women who are ready to take on the challenge of transforming the economy.
Now we go to NDC.
Thank you very much.
Including comments, please.
Thank you very much. I want to first and foremost thank the IEA for this opportunity it's given to Ghanaians to get to know who the persons who want to lead this country over an economy that was in deficit. Indeed, the MPP were very relieved. See, in 3 years, it has laid the kind of that it takes to open the opportunities of this country to all Ghanaians.
Actually, now we can all applaud the candidates.
Let's give our candidates a round of applause.
Please say we are not.
So that's debate, viewers. That's debate. You know, Akufado speaks, John Mahama speaks. So it looks like John Mahama has brought the debate on, and we are excited because we all want to see a debate, don't we? President Mahama says, I have 5 questions for you. He says, come to the debate. Come. Show up at the debate. Me and you, all Ghana is watching. Let's deal with this, isn't it? All right, let's take it. We have another story. Yeah, we have another story. Oh, well, that's my favorite story. Tonight we won't do the book. We'll do the book on Thursday. I just told Africa I was very disappointed because we are prepared well for it. But the production is there. We'll do it on Thursday. And on Thursday, I have copies of the book to show you, so that is better, isn't it? Alan Chematin called me to be his running mate. Oliver Vomaho Mause Baka, lawyer, activist. That's what he told Bolare on Star FM. That's the most. I know it's not true. Viewers, you think it is true? Me, I know it's not true. You will think it is true if you don't know Alan Chematin. But those of us who know Alan Chematin and know how meticulous he is, he will never, ever, ever select Oliver Vom. It's not true. This thing Oliver is saying, it is not true. Alan Chematin did not select him as a running mate. Alan Chematin will not do that. He will never select Oliver as his running mate. He won't do that. He will not do that. He knows what Oliver is made of, and he knows what he's looking for. And those who know him a little bit know what Alan is looking for. What Alan represents and what Oliver represents is at cross purposes. Alan Chematin will never ask Oliver Vomaho to be his running mate. This story that Oliver told Bolare, it is untrue. Oliver published on his Facebook page, and it was sensational because he announced that he was going to publish it, and it became quite sensational. He says he has a tape recording. You know, these people, they're always recording something. He has a tape recording of his conversation with Albert Kandapa, the Minister for National Security. What's the time now? Let's see. Okay, yeah, we have time to play. Now, he says that that recording is supposed to indicate that Kandapa, the Honorable Minister for Security, and as he then was Minister for Finance, Ken Ofori-Atta, were trying to influence him with money during the time that he was very popular and people trusted him. Now people don't trust him anymore. But at that time, people trusted him when you're talking about fix the country, and there were so many potholes, the roads were bad. Over the last year and a half, many of the roads have improved. But at that time, the roads were terrible and all that. So people trusted him a little bit. And he had met the Minister of Finance with his team, young people saying fix the country. So everybody thought. Then when he started the megalomania and started calling himself Osajifo, and his own friends at Joy FM had a conversation, I was listening, and they were talking about how he's calling himself Osajifo. And once he lost the friendship with his people at Joy FM and other places, then everybody started seeing the real character of who he is. And once we found out that he has been using different names, that he has worked at Foreign Affairs, he used to work in Romana Tugube's office for John Mahama, then everybody knew that this guy is not what he thinks, what he says he is. Now, in trying to fight back for that credibility of people trusting him, he publishes a tape on his Facebook social media page where he says, this is a recording of my phone conversation with Albert Kandapa. And in that conversation, Kandapa was trying to bribe me. It's 8 minutes long. I'm sorry, it's a bit long. I thought it was 5. It's 8 minutes long. Viewers, after the 8 minutes, tell me whether this means Kandapa was bribing him. Listen to Oliver and Kandapa in a secretly recorded videotape.
No, I mean, I think that, and this is one of the things which is important for both of us to stress, that the only way this can work is through a process of conversation, that we understand that the interests are shared. I mean, the question of how we deal with the youth problem is something that unites so many people, you know. And I don't think that this is something that's necessarily opposed to or against government or per se, as you have appreciated that the conversations that is going on, people don't want to engage within a party-based framework. And we want to remove the conversation from that sense, you know. If there's been any frustration, it's just been in the initial responses, I guess. But I think we can reset and get somewhere on that.
I agree with you. I agree with you.
Now, substantively, it's about how we do that.
Okay.
You know, and I think, you know, perhaps maybe there has been a bit of misunderstanding between us because it is important that even as we engage, there's a sense of legitimacy to what we engage in. And I was saying that, especially with the first meeting, what was going on around is that there was secret and underhand dealings that we didn't want to communicate what had been talked about in the meeting. And you know, in the way in which you communicate with various people who have anxieties and a long sense of distrust, it is important that they feel a sense that, no, you are in their camp. And that's how a lot of those conversations have gone in that direction. So I hope we can put some structure down about that engagement process.
Okay.
Yeah. As far as I'm concerned now, I think the immediate thing is for me to come to Ghana, and how we make that work.
Okay.
So this is where I hand over to you.
Okay. Let me put it this way.
Yeah.
You can have my way for it. Your friend, the general, can also be the witness. There is no way that the security agencies will do anything to you if you come to Ghana at all. You can rest assured that that will never be our intention. I will never do that.
Yeah.
Number two, quietly between the two of us, I should have no difficulty facilitating your trip.
Yeah.
In terms of logistics for you to be able to come down. And we can start talking. Probably the two of us can talk later. I will want my colleague, the Minister of Finance alone, to join me, and some of your colleagues can also join you.
Okay.
And we can have a series of conversations when we get to the point where we think we should make it public or we think we should enlarge it. We will then go from there.
Okay. In terms of the logistics of my coming itself, I mean, I appreciate the offer, but I think I would handle that. On my end.
No problem.
But I also wanted to have a sense, perhaps, of initial scheduling, and in terms of the schedule of meetings we were thinking about, because I think I could be in Ghana by Thursday.
Okay. So we can have a first meeting on Friday.
Okay.
And probably get the Minister of Finance to join us over the weekend.
Okay. That seems like a good approach. And in the initial meeting, depending on how you'd want that enlarged as well, I mean, I had floated the idea about 2 to 3 people in that conversation. But if you feel like a smaller group is better, let me know what your thinking is on that.
Actually, that also can work. You can come with 3 people or 4, whatever. But in that case, let me also come with the Minister of Finance.
Yeah. I mean, I think in terms of those you are coming with, I leave you to make that determination for yourself. But I suppose we both appreciate as well that in the beginning, the smaller you keep it, the more easier it is to to reach certain compromises as well.
Yes. I want the Minister of Finance to be there because I know what his thinking is on this matter, and I know you will have a much better understanding than some of my.
Right.
So yes, we can fix a meeting for Friday.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Okay. If there's that should work then. I mean, how do we then continue the conversation? Can continue to route it through General Kotia, if that's fine.
Yes.
Okay.
Exactly.
Thank you then.
Let me question before you continue.
Yeah.
First meeting, do you want it in a secret location or you want it, the minister can host it at his office? Which one do you prefer?
No. We will host it in one of my safe houses.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, I think it's also important that we manage the conversation around that. And by that I mean, so maybe the CPR, so the safe houses might make sense. And then in terms of the mediation process, I mean, I don't know, again, I wouldn't presume to know how structurally it works within the national security and how it relates with the armed forces. But I was wondering whether there's space for General Koti as mediator to be there. But this is something you would have to think about.
Yes, I think both the Minister of Finance and myself have absolute confidence in him.
Yeah.
So that shouldn't be a problem.
Okay. Okay, that works then.
Okay. That's good.
I appreciate the conversation.
Thank you very, very much.
Yeah, you too. Have a nice one.
Thank you so much.
So you heard it, viewers. This is Oliver Barker in a conversation that he said he secretly recorded with the Minister for National Security. I guess he doesn't know that, of course, the Minister for National Security also most likely recorded. He's speaking from his office. Everything around him is to be recorded. So I'm sure that he also did. So it's coming on the back of a suit where the Minister for National Security has sued Oliver in defamation, where Oliver said that he tried to pay him a bribe of 1 million, he says, United States dollars, a humongous amount of money. 1 million United States dollars, that's a lifetime money. Oliver says that was to be given to him so that he will desist from getting onto the streets to fix the country. So viewers, what do you think? If you listen to the conversation, Oliver is asking for a meeting with fewer people, and Kandapa is open to whatever Oliver wants to discuss. And this is because at that time they trusted him. The Minister for National Security has currently sued him. But then they trusted him. And Oliver sounds quite intelligent, doesn't he? Yeah, he sounds intelligent. And so this is the story. Let me know what you think on the text messages. But I have an important visitor coming to Ghana that I need to share with you. Dr. Abel Damina, who's now become my good friend, is coming to Ghana this week. I'll be recording an interview with him here in the studio or somewhere else. And then you will see the interview, I guess, next week. I think next week, yeah, most probably next week, yes. You'll see it next week on TV. But he's in Ghana for a program, and this is a 30-second presentation of the program. Here it is.
Hello, Ghana. Are you ready for Dr. Abel Damina? The New Testament is not a complement of the Old Testament. It's a complete replacement. Replacement in character, replacement in attributes, replacement in operation. By resurrection, we have access to revelation. Our revelation is higher than experience.
Accra, Ghana, you guys have been calling me for a long time. Finally, I am responding to the call. I will be in Accra, Ghana from the 1st to the 3rd of November 2024 at the Mikado Conference Center in Laboni Junction, Accra. It's the force of the New Testament. Everybody in Accra, everybody in Ghana, share this good news. Get more people to know about it. Let's get this to go viral. I will be in Accra, Ghana from the 1st to the 3rd of November, right there at the Mikado Conference Center. I'm looking forward to unveiling and unraveling the Christ and bringing clarity to believers and equipping men and women of God to preach the New Testament. Remember, the Bible says he has made us able ministers of the New Testament. We are called to dispense the New Testament. So I'm looking forward to seeing all of you in Accra. There are phone numbers on the screen for you to call for further directions. Also in the conference, there will be sessions for questions and answers. It's going to be the revelation of Jesus all over the nation of Ghana. It's one conference that will change your life and ministry forever. You are a product of his resurrection. There is nothing that can kill your ministry. Even if you are in a village without light, your ministry will thrive because your ministry came out of resurrection. So preach the word in and out of season. Preach it. And the Lord was working with them, confirming what?
He watcheth over his word to perform. Forever, O God, thy word is settled where? Heaven and earth shall pass away, but the word of God shall abide forever. So shall my word be that goes out of my mouth. It shall not come back void, but accomplish what I please. He uphold all things by the word of his power. Your word is a lamp unto my feet and a light unto my path. The entrance of his word bring a light and give it understanding to the simple, and the light shines in darkness. Shout fire, somebody.
Be there.
This republic is looking very interesting. Have you heard the news that's just coming? Please don't sleep. 10 minutes to the top of the hour 11. Don't sleep at all. News has just come in. Big deal. The Public Procurement Authority man, Charlie, the guy has got swag, man. The guy has got swag. He has written a letter to Alban Sumano Kingsford Bagbin. He says, Mr. Speaker, what are you saying? You want me to approve for you to pay a lawyer from Parliament's money 300,000 Ghana cedis for representing you at Supreme Court? I will not do it. Go to the Attorney General. Now, if you think I'm exaggerating, let's get onto the touch screen and see what has just happened. So, what you see, the letter is it's a December 2022 letter. You know, it's just December 2022 letter, and it's talking about the speaker wanted to ask for money to be given to a lawyer. And I think people are putting this up now because it appears that the speaker is preparing to go to the Supreme Court, as we know. Speaker Bagbin has responded that the service of the Supreme Court processes on him was illegitimate, and therefore he's returned the service. And so he's preparing to get a lawyer, as it were, to go to the court. So people are publishing this again. It says, request for approval to procure the services of an external solicitor to support Parliament and the parliamentary services through the application of a single source method of procurement. We make reference to a letter. At the first board meeting of 5th board held on Thursday, 8 December 2022, the board could not approve the request to use the single source procurement method to engage Messrs. Sorry at Law as an external solicitor to support Parliament and the parliamentary service on a retainer of 5,000 cedis and a specific fee for the conduct of constitutional cases in the Supreme Court at a fee not exceeding 300,000 cedis. The board noted that since the Attorney General is the principal legal advisor to the government, the board is of the considered opinion that the parliamentary services should continue to use the services of the Attorney General in all legal matters. We count on usual cooperation. Now, this letter is coming up because Mr. Bagbin has sued, and it appears that the name of the lawyer entered on the suit is a private lawyer, and they are looking. People are beginning to look. How is Parliament going to pay the lawyer? Because public procurement told Speaker Bagbin that we cannot approve for use to use private lawyers and use the taxpayers' money to pay. The Attorney General is the principal legal advisor to the government. The Office of the Speaker is part of the government. The Attorney General ought to defend the Office of the Speaker. That's why we all, as taxpayers, pay the Attorney General. Speaker Bagbin cannot hire his own lawyer. If he hires his own lawyer, he has to pay his own lawyer. I think that's the commercial side. But in terms of the legal side, if he hires his own lawyer, has he done something wrong? I think that's another part of the argument. But people are publishing this tonight because Speaker Bagbin, as it's turning out, is suing, and they suspect that he's going to use a private lawyer. Let's go to the text message and see what's happening finally. Or is sports ready? Maybe the sports can just come. Okay, Andy, please come over and tell us why Eric Ten Hag has left Manchester United. And yes.
Finally, your bestie is...
Yeah, he's gone. I was excited. I woke up to the news yesterday and I thought, oh, wow.
Yeah, he's gone with the wind.
But you see, you still have to say something about him and for him.
Yes.
50 years from now, and I tell people, younger people who ask me that, it looks like Arsenal has a lot of support. It looks like Arsenal is loud. Arsenal, how come they have won the title so few times?
Yeah.
And I explained to them that that's the thing with football. Over the last 2 years, Arsenal has been more exciting than Manchester United.
Of course.
50 years from now, if they are looking at the last 2 years, Manchester United will appear more successful than Arsenal.
Yeah.
Because in each of the 2 seasons, they won a trophy. And in calculating the biggest team in the world, Manchester United will feature. But those who lived in the 2 years that we all lived in know that Arsenal was more exciting. That's a problem with Arsenal.
Yeah.
So that is how Arsenal has been. Have you seen Patrice Evra's
thing? Arsenal is
it's like a Netflix. It's a series. Nothing will change.
Next season.
That's how Arsenal has been. So if you look at the excitement and what appears to be the power of Arsenal, why have they won the title 11 times and United is 20 and Liverpool is 19? That's because they're always nearly there. There's a lot of excitement. So you live in that period. There's excitement. There's loud. But Eric Ten Hag has been sacked after winning two titles in 2 seasons, where Mikel Arteta did so well, came second in both seasons, won nothing.
So last season, that was United's worst season ever. We still won a trophy.
Yes.
That is what he will brag with it. 128 matches, 72 wins, and also...
But I also saw a video of Diego Dalot squandering that opportunity, and it occurred to me. Were they faking it?
I feel
was
the
it,
players...
Did he really... is it that he didn't want to score?
I feel the players wanted the coach to leave. I feel. Because the chances... We have missed the most chances in the season. 26 big chances. And
United?
Yeah. The game against West Ham was 8 chances. The first half alone, we missed 7 clear chances.
Oh, and then they wanted him out.
I really don't know what...
It must be a human relations problem.
I think so. He had issues from the very first day. Ronaldo, Sancho, a lot of players, Rashford. So it was...
And backroom staff. Apparently he's had problem with backroom staff as well.
So I think it's a human relation.
But he should learn to have good human relations.
United was his first big club. He was in Netherlands, So United really exposed him. He has to go back and learn. You understand?
Who is this Ruben? Somebody?
Amorim. Yeah, Ruben Amorim. So Ruben Amorim...
He's such a young man.
Very, very young man. So we'll get there later. He's from Sporting CP. That's Sporting Lisbon, Ronaldo's former team. So he went there from Sporting Braga 2020, and then they won the league in 2021. They had not won the league since 2003, and then he won the league for them in 2021. And last year, they also won the league again. And this season, they are first in their league, 30 points from...
so they are beating FC Porto?
Porto, Benfica. They are just taking them to the cleaners. And he plays a very different system, 3-4-3. This is the very first time a Manchester United coach is going to play the 3-back system.
3-4-3?
Yes.
Alex Ferguson played 4-4-2?
Yes, 4-4-2, typical 4-4-2. And then Ten Hag, all the coaches, 4-3-3, sometimes 4-2-3-1 variations. So he will be the very first man.
But he may not play 4-3-3. You say he plays what? 4-3?
No, 3-4, a 3-back, 3-4-3.
So 3 central defenders?
3 central defenders.
A left-footed central defender in there?
Yes, so that you might get maybe a left back, then 2 centre backs, that's a left centre back and a right centre back, and then you get the wing backs, attacking-minded wing backs.
So they are part of the 4?
Yes, the 4 midfielders. Then you have your 2. That's the base, maybe Menu and maybe Casemiro. You understand? And you have Bruno, part of the front 2. So it will be like 3. So Rashford, Bruno, then the striker. So a 3-4-3 formation. A 3-4-3 formation. It means that all the players have to come to bear. They have to work. The system makes you work. So if you are lazy, like more of our players are very lazy, there has to be a total shift. More of our players are very lazy. Rashford, Dalot, Garnacho, all of them have to come to the party, understand? So let's just wait and see. And also there was the stat. The losing rate, he lost 36 games out of 128. I feel it's not that bad, but Ole had a lesser loss rate than him. You understand? And then people were just trolling. But all in all, he has been a success. All jokes aside, he has been a success.
It says human relations as a problem.
Yes, that's the issue. Let's go to the good, the bad, and the ugly.
Yeah, Vinicius Jr. says that what? He will not talk to UEFA anymore.
He says, I'll do it 10 times. After the event, just like 2 minutes, I'll do it 10 times if I have to. They are not ready. After the event.
UEFA is not ready?
No way, they're not ready.
For what?
Oh, this season he will give more, more goals, more assists. I think he was really, really pissed. And a lot of players, like past players and also even current players, were just, yesterday tweeting, putting on Instagram, he was a real winner. I really don't know.
But why? What? They don't like Rodri?
So the problem with Rodri is, I feel Madrid shot themselves in the foot. When the season started last season, it was Bellingham throughout. Then when it got to, I think, March, April, when we were getting to the tail end of the season, the business end of the season, Champions League, then Vinicius all of a sudden came, and then they started pushing Vinicius, and that was where the problem was. I felt like anytime Madrid pushes a player, they push the player only. Ronaldo, Modric only, Figo only. When they are pushing a player, they push a player. But this time they were divided with Bellingham.
I mean, when they are putting the PR behind the player towards
it's just
Ballon
one
d'Or.
player.
They
At this
always
time,
do one
they were
player.
divided.
But that's because they are spoiled for choice.
There was even Mbappe.
Now they have
There was
Mbappe,
Caballero.
yeah.
There was Bellingham, and then there was this guy. But City only had one. Not just City, but Spain. The
But
national
who was
team.
the Champions League winner?
Real Madrid.
So why is the trophy going to the Champions League loser?
It does happen. It does happen because see, what also worried Vinicius was the Copa del Rey or the Copa America. Sorry. So you know they played that one in June, the same time synonymous to the Euros, and then he got out in the quarterfinals. He scored only 2 goals.
Yeah, what did Rodri do in the Euros?
So he was the best player of the tournament.
Oh, for Spain?
Yeah, for Spain.
And winning?
Yeah, he won.
So that's the winning they used.
Yes.
If he didn't win Champions League, he won the Euros.
It means that you have to be extra. See, in 2018,
For your country and for a club.
Yes.
Yeah.
In 2008, Ronaldo went to the Euros. He won the Champions League for United. He was a top scorer in the Champions League. Scored 42 goals, an amazing record for a midfielder at that time. But what happened was in 2008, when they went to the Euros, they were dumped out in the quarterfinals by Germany. You understand? But ask yourself, what saved Ronaldo? Because he won all the accolades and all the goals. Like he did things to the point where you couldn't get anything against him.
Like top scorer Champions League, top scorer Premier League, top scorer here.
So he was top scorer in the
best
league,
player Premier
best
League.
player in the league. But in the league, the best player was Jude Bellingham. Madrid's best player of the season was Jude Bellingham.
Oh, then how does Vinicius become the Ballon d'Or? Okay, so that's the point you're making. They mixed up a few things.
Rodri was the best player in
City.
Not in City. It was Foden, but he had at least a best player thing. That's the Euros.
Yeah.
The Euros was like the biggest thing.
Yeah, the
you
Euros.
understand?
Yeah, the
So-
Euros. He was the best player from the European Championship.
Yes.
Okay.
So they had to understand.
And in
it.
the winning team.
Yes, in the winning team. So you see, I bought in the Ronaldo bit. Ronaldo in 2008.
Maybe if England had won the Euros, Jude Bellingham may have had a stronger
You
case.
know, that's why I said they shot themselves in the foot. Jude Bellingham was the better player for them to like project. All jokes aside, if it was Jude Bellingham and also that was Rodri.
Also, he's English, and the English press is heavy.
Yes, and then so they take 100 journalists from the 100 first teams. That's the FIFA rankings, and they vote. So if a lot of them
Also,
don't like
journalists
him,
voted for Rodri.
Yeah. They voted for him massively, shockingly. You understand? So
Sorry
yeah.
to Vinicius Junior. So Sunday, Man United Chelsea.
Yes,
At the Old Trafford.
it might be the coach's very first game.
But has he taken it? Is it going to be Ruud van Nistelrooy? Is going to be
Ruud van
Amorim?
Nistelrooy will take our Carabao Cup. That's tomorrow.
Tomorrow.
Yes, against
And
Leicester City.
Amorim is coming for the
Amorim will
Chelsea
come
game.
for Chelsea, for Kopama and his friends. Okay.
Good luck to Manchester United. Okay, let's take the last round of text messages, and then we'll be out of here. We have to be going out of here. Anziba, isn't it?
All right, so from Frank Boating, he says he thinks that the recording is fake, but the question is why the finance minister? Nana Usi says, this Kendapa is not wise enough. Why do you engage with this man at all? Bright Ej Mensah says, it is possible. Park WC Idea says, can we ask to send questions to Reverend for us? And lastly, from Papa Jim Fee, he says, the speaker is also milking Mother Ghana. The word corruption is debatable. Over to you, Ella.
Right, so this is from Nixon. He says, Apostle Paul, when I heard the tape, I couldn't stop laughing. And what does Oliver want to achieve with this hogwash behavior? This is terrible and will lead to people not trusting him. That is an absurd behavior, and it's not like someone is trying, and it's like someone trying too much to stay relevant in our political space. This is quite shameful. Gusty Man says, I'm very surprised as to why King Dapa to give him that much opportunity. Did he forget that he was speaking to a corrupt person? How could he grant him such an audience? This man has to be security conscious. All right, so this one is from Shadrach. He says, in fact, because he knew he was recording the content of the conversation, his questions were to a particular tangent. One could tell that he was trying to drag the minister to say certain things. He should do better next time because he failed this one. Lastly, from Abubakar, he says, Dear John Dramani Mahama, before you finally agree to debate Dr. Bawumia, let me help you. When you were in power, the dollar rose from 1 cedi to 4 cedis, and during that time, you struggled to provide stable electricity, failed to pay the Ghanaian worker their full salaries, implemented a 3-month pay policy, and could not supply schools with chalk. Many students face barriers to education due to fees. Now, the NPP has seen the dollar increase from 4 cedi to 16 cedis to just over 16 cedis. However, we are enjoying stable electricity, free education, a reliable health insurance system, and the establishment of numerous factories. You inherited a national debt of 8 billion cedis, but left us with a staggering 128 billion cedis. This represents an increase of over 1,400%. In contrast, the MPP has managed to raise the debt from 120 billion to 763 billion, which is a percentage increase of 535.83%. Today, the MPP has constructed more fishing harbours, roads, schools, and hospitals than your administration, all while maintaining consistent power supply for the past 8 years. Who even advised you on the current inflation rate? Sami Jenfi, if you have any sense of shame, you would not be discussing the economy. All right, over to you, Anna.
Yeah, so still on the issue of the IEA debate, a few viewers sent in a lot of yeses insinuating that they would want the IEA debate to be held. We have a message from S.Y. Abbas on the issue. He says, wow, just a few days ago, on October 17, 2024, JDM stated, and he quotes, Bawumia doesn't deserve a debate. He's losing this election. I wouldn't elevate him to my level and sit down to debate him. Their campaign is failing. They have no message, so he wants to be elevated to my level. No, 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 I know my level. But now the same person is posing questions for Dr. Bawumia to answer. Has he suddenly realized he's losing and now seeks attention from Dr. Bawumia? He asks, has Dr. Bawumia somehow reached his level now that he wants to engage him? Is it JDM's campaign that is struggling? 3 days of campaigning followed by 3 weeks of honeymoon. Is that how you win an election? And he adds, what has actually changed? Now, Alhaji Bob Sidi wants to know, he asks, can't the Supreme Court actually force John Mahama to debate Dr. Bawumia compulsorily? This ranting on campaign platform would have ended a long time ago. It seems you're running away from the gentleman, but throwing empty jabs. Be bold and come out for the debate, he adds. Now, Clifford Che Barford says, low-key, it seems GM is actually asking DMB for a debate since he knows his campaign is sinking and that momentum is on DMB's side. Mahama Awe, he adds. Now, Samuel Ofosuba says, I think if ex-President John Dramani Mahama would have been silent for not asking DMB those 5 irrelevant questions, it would have been better for his position as a statesman. I don't know who cancelled President Mahama. His advisors are probably doing him great harm than good. His management team must check his public speeches. I think it's not worthy for his campaign teams to handle him in such cause. Now, lastly, Mark Otreith says, will NDC and John Mahama have the moral right to ask the GFP to stay in the race after JDM lambasting them and the EC, which led Anti-Akua to furiously attack JDM at the IPAC? The NDC and JDM should accept their new position as number 7 and communicate it to their members and sympathizers, period. Now back to you, Paul.
All right. So thank you very much. We had a good time. We will be back on Thursday with another very special edition. We hope to get an interview with the Minister for Education. We're working on that. But he's going to talk to us about placement, about all of those things. And then he's also doing a lot of youth mobilization towards the campaign 2024. And then later on Friday, we'll be conducting a recorded interview with Dr. Damina. That's it for Good Evening Ghana. It's always a pleasure. Thank you very much for watching and good night.